Welcome to TC and the Wolf, a brand new podcast featuring the Reverend Tom Chandler, a talented but slightly disgruntled music producer, and Nick Wolf, a singer, songwriter, and technology wizard. Important note, everything we say here is a joke and only for entertainment purposes. Do not take this seriously. The opinions expressed do not represent the views of anyone else or any companies we may be affiliated with. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and share. And as always, drink responsibly and make sure to tip your waiters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people all over the Los Angeles area, we are back for a TC and the Wolf episode motherfucking 16.
16.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I never thought we'd get through like 4 episodes, let alone 16.
You know, when it feels right, it's not work at all.
Or conversely, when it's not right, it feels like a shitload of work and you're beat up and terrified by this entire situation.
We've been there, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And it's been a bit. So we're back. We're into a new week, and wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in, following us. And Jesus, we've had some explosive Instagram numbers, especially on my end lately. I've been happy about that.
You've had a lot of explosive things happening for you.
I have. Oh, that was bad. We're really going to get into that first and foremost.
You said you didn't mind talking about it.
I don't mind talking about it, but you know, whenever you crap your pants in public, it's a tough thing to talk about.
When are you going to start your Shartstagram?
To be real, I've only sharted for real, like 4 times in my life. And one of the times was the other day. This was horrific. So I did my morning walk. And I had had a lot of vodka the night before. Let's be real. Like I'd had probably half a handle the night before.
Damn, son.
I know. I was going pretty hard.
What was the occasion?
Thursday. I don't know, dude. So I came back down off the hill in the morning, and I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling confident. I was feeling strong. I'm talking to my dad on the phone. My dad's been having a bunch of health issues. I've been trying to keep up with him every couple of days just to see where he's at. How he's feeling, if he's doing better. So we're having a long talk. We've been on the phone for probably 45 minutes or an hour at this point. And I'm coming back towards, my place. I'm around past this YMCA that's nearby. And I was like, oh, God, I got to fart. So I just ripped a quick one. I was like, oh, God. Not only was it loud and sounded wet, but now I'm wet.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, is this running out my shorts down my leg? Like I had to check, and I was like, no, it seems like it's contained. So I'm like moving around in the boxers, just kind of like spread the love out so I know it can, have some absorption. So I walked it was probably another 18 minutes with just the world's worst ass of all time. And just like, I hope no chick sees me. I hope no one takes a second look.
Was stuff coming out the bottom or what?
Oh, no. It was contained in the underwear. I thought for a second I felt like a drop hit like the back of my ankle or something. And I looked down, there was nothing there. I was like, oh, this is just me being crazy. So I'm walking and I'm talking to my dad, and my dad gets into this heartfelt part of the conversation.
And you're like, Dad, give me a second.
So I walk in the house and I'm like, okay, this is a rough thing to talk with my dad about. I'm like, Dad, keep talking. Cause he's deep in thoughts. He's like, back when I was in Vietnam, this went on and this happened and, a real turning point in my life. And I'm like, I'm pulling off my pants as I get into the front door, dude.
Oh my God.
I immediately take him to the shower.
What time of day is this?
This is 11 a.m. or something like that. So I take my shorts into the shower. I'm washing them. I got my phone on the sink, and I'm talking to my dad, screaming across while I'm cleaning my underwear out.
About Nam?
Yeah, he was talking about just Vietnam and some shit that happened, and how it changed his thinking after he saw some things and war and shit like that. And I was trying not to get off the phone, because if I was like, Dad, I just shit my pants, I got to get off the phone, he was going to be mad.
It's not an opportune time to take a breather.
No, it wasn't. He was carrying on too, but I was like, this is an opportune time to wash some underwear. So I prep worked all the underwear, got it taken care of. Now, to be fair, I want everyone to know this has only happened a couple times in my life.
Wasn't there a story about Taco Bell one time that you told me?
No, there was.
Where you had to change your pants at the Taco Bell or something?
No, it was at the Hill Street Cafe in La Cañada.
Holy shit. Shout out to Hill Street.
Yeah, I was carrying a bunch of groceries across the street from Target. It was really hot. And similar situation. half handle of vodka, and it's always vodka that does it.
I'm starting to see a correlation here.
Yeah, and when I drink whiskey, it's weird because like whiskey is corn based, right? So it's largely bourbon's corn based, and it's largely like a food, and your body kind of treats it that way. When you drink vodka, it just tastes like you're drinking like liquid alcohol.
It's based on potatoes, right?
Potatoes or rice. You can make it a lot of different ways, but like largely it's the off rinsing of a starch that's fermented, right? So, but vodka always feels a lot harsher and burnier to me for some reason, for my stomach or whatever I'm doing. But yeah, that was a fart I trusted coming out of Target, and I threw my underwear away in the Hill Street Cafe across the street.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was. But
when you told me that story the first time, it was pretty brutal, dude.
It was, because I'd walked through a whole bunch of family. I had white shorts on. It was really uncomfortable.
My goodness.
All right, so we're done with Tom Chandler shit in his pants stories.
Sharts fired.
It's only happened like 4 times in my life, and this was...
That's not a bad ratio, I guess.
This was like in the last 5 years, maybe twice or something. But I've been drinking.
Oh, so it's actually escalating. The rate is going up.
No, I mean...
Folks at home, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. How many times have you sharted your pants and just destroyed your underwear in the last 10 years?
The time before that was unfair because it was the Dominican Republic, and the food there is a little sketch. Okay,
I see.
So I went to like this big outdoor buffet and like went back to a 5-star hotel and ruined the bed I was in and had to like wash it off and give it to the maids. That was terrible. But this doesn't happen that often, but when it does, I'm completely embarrassed.
Well, now you've told 3 of the stories. What's the 4th one?
You can't tell this.
Dominican Republic, Hill Street.
All right, so it was 2011. I remember this because I was watching VH1, the show that was about metal, where that dude from Canada did like a whole metal series. And they were on the thing about progressive metal where it was like Mastodon and everything. The night before I was watching that, I went into my bed.
Good memory, dude.
I went to sleep. Well, this was a very important, pivotal time in my life. You know, I was watching a metal documentary. So I went to bed that night, and me and my friends, we had been up for like all night. We were like playing football in my hallway. We've been tackling each other. Like we were drunk on another level. I was just in bed. It was probably like 6, 7 in the morning. I was like, oh God, I'm feeling pretty weird. Woke up for a second, it was like, all right, I'll be fine. Just went back to sleep. Woke up the next day with my girlfriend fucking screaming at me. She's like, Tom, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, did you shit? And she was right beside me, like sleeping in it and everything the whole time.
What was her name?
I'm not going to tell you her name. Shut up. This is
like Brenda or something?
No, pretty close, but no. I'm not giving you out someone's fucking name when I poop next to them. That was terrible.
Okay,
but that was like 20.
Right.
So between 2011 and 2026, right? That's what it is
4
now.
times?
It's 4 times. I mean, that's not too bad.
Okay, so that's 15 years, 4 times in 15 years?
Yeah, that's like once every 3
Someone
years.
calculate that.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not so bad. I guess.
All right, can we be done about me pooping now?
Can I tell you one quick story?
Sure.
It's not really about me, but, well, I mean, adjacently. I have a cousin. I won't name names. Just, we'll keep
Devin, we know who you are.
the identities of the shitters private.
Except mine.
Except for you. You committed to bear all on this podcast, and you're keeping your word.
Here's the thing, dude. I told you I was going to be the clown for this thing. I have nothing to prove to anyone anymore. I'm just being me, and I can't do anything else but that. So continue. Devin, your cousin.
I do have a cousin named Devin who's kind of a badass dude. This is not about him, but anyway, my cousin was getting married. I was already living in LA. They were throwing a big wedding in Cleveland. I flew in for the thing. I was pumped. I got to see a lot of old family. My cousin probably is was one of the gnarliest drinkers I've ever known. And that's including a lot of heavy hitters. I mean, I don't know how he would compare to you. I'd have to think about that, so I don't want to do that on the spot. Okay. But I mean, he's a gnarly dude. And he started getting super ham-boned when he was like, I don't know, 14 maybe. So he's been doing it a long time. Mm-hmm. Also, he's from a family whose background, like they're all about the parties, yucking it up, like big, huge family parties with a lot of alcohol. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he throws a big wedding. It was a beautiful wedding, actually. Everyone went off, the whole 9 yards, great spread of food, everything. So we had
interesting choice of words.
Oh, dear. So the wedding was at one place, and then they had like a nice reception at like the woman's parents' house.
The wife's parents' house.
Yeah. And then they were going to have everyone's going to go back and sleep at this hotel nearby, like in a small town in Ohio. And we go back there and partying continues. Long story short, my dude, they go to sleep on their wedding night, and he was super plastered, and he let it loose in the marital bed.
Oof.
And, and then but he was like blacked out basically too. So like the woman came out of her place, and she's like knocking on all of the other people's doors, including my door, saying, I need help. Something's gone terribly wrong. And we had to go in there and help my dude, get out of that jam.
Well, that's
and
all right. That's all right.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not tripping on it. And again, I'm not naming names, but it happens.
You've never sharted before.
Not that I know of.
Wow, that's an amazingly tight butthole, Nicholas. I'm going to give you credit for that. That's interesting.
That's what I'm known for.
Incredibly tight, but it's like a frog. Airtight. No water goes in here.
I'd like to refer to more as like a dolphin's porthole or something, I don't know.
You're terrible.
Jesus.
All right, continuing on.
Let's get back to something really important and really newsworthy and really safe for work. The war in Iran.
God damn it.
What's been going on lately?
This motherfucker Trump is fucking up, dude. Like,
let's hear about it.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, he came in here telling people, we're going to lower gas prices. We're going to lower food prices. We're going to be the party of no war. And this motherfucker's just lying, dude. Like, he's doing everything.
There's a lot of missed promises
with his own agenda. And I don't think he's in his fucking right mind. And this is just stirring shit. I mean, do I think that people in Iran, especially the women, need to be free? 100%. Do I think we should have been working on that fucking 30 fucking years ago? Yeah. The last time we went in there and proacted a regime change, like, we put them back into this situation again. And I feel like because America doesn't like finish the job and go in and, review and see who's going to replace and repair the leadership components in the country, they don't ever really finish that. So we're never making any progress. So we're basically putting this off for another 20, 25 years until Ayatollah or whoever the fuck builds up their shit again to come back and hate the West. And like some of our friends that are in the military and shit have told us that communism and fucking all those other things that are against the West are only united in one front, which is they hate the West. They actually hate each other. North Korea, China, Russia, all my friends that are operatives and things like that told me they hate each other. The only thing they don't like is us being united together in the West, from Europe, Canada, America, that kind of situation. So like, I just don't see how this is going to pencil out unless we're going to spend trillions of fucking dollars.
Well, I think this is going to be $1 trillion operation pretty easily. I won't be surprised.
Just in missiles fired so far, if each of them is $4 million, what are we looking at?
They're probably already in the billions spent, I would guess.
That's what I'm saying. And then if we're going to start putting people in place over there, it's just to rebuild something like that, you better fucking have a plan together. You better have your shit fucking worked out.
Well, I want to go on record and say a couple quick things. Number one, I'm not an expert in these matters, so I'm just speculating, and I don't think you're an expert either.
Not an expert, just but innocent civilians. I'm viewing fucking up.
Trying to understand. Yeah. Number two, importantly, you said they should have a plan. This is one of the stickiest parts about this. I don't think there is a plan or a strategy, and that really concerns me because that also leads to endless spending, endless war, no exit strategy. That's one of the most concerning parts about all this stuff.
And if we learned anything about American politicians in the last fucking 20 years, right? It's that they're all corrupt, they're all in the bag of some big business, right? And they all are incompetent fucking retards. We've learned that in this time, that like, none of these people have a plan. Their plan is getting paid a couple $1 million for the next few years. We've seen people go into office that only are worth like fucking $200,000, and then they end up coming out being worth $4 or $5 million in 3 or 4 years.
Well,
I mean,
this is kind of a side topic, but I get what you're saying. But it's even worse than that. I mean, because the average congressperson's salary is like $200,000, $250,000, something like that, which is a lot compared to maybe the average American, but in the big picture, it's not that much. And you've got people who, I mean, granted, they've been in politics for like 30 years, let's say, but they're worth $150 million. There's literally no conceivable way, math or otherwise, you can get from $200,000 a year times 30 and get up to $150 million.
Other than insider trading and going with people that are lobbyists.
I think
That's the only way
insider
to do it.
trading is probably a fair theory.
I mean, if you're making
What
the
else could it
laws
be?
that determine
What else could it
what
be?
medicines and how fuel is used, and and the one thing my dad always says, which is interesting because we've talked about my dad a lot on this podcast already. He's been telling me, he goes,
Shout out to Steve.
it's Norm actually. Norm always says, he goes, the one thing the government should be responsible for to its people is the infrastructure and the energy. Because those are the two things which we should regulate, we should have investments in, and not have privatized. Because what we're seeing is the privatization is making it so gas is fucking $6 a gallon now, and we never thought we'd see that.
Well, that's a good segue or tie back to the war in Iran, because there's literally a ticker on CNN right now, and it shows how much the gas has increased per gallon since the war started. I think it's 74 cents, nationwide average, up 74 cents, which is not trivial, because there's a lot of people who do a lot of commuting just to go to their basic job to make ends meet, right? So the cost of everything is going up as a result. Every single product we have requires shipping and logistics, transit, which requires energy, which requires gas. So basically, the war is causing the price of everything to go up in an economy when everything was already basically up.
And that's what I'm saying is this too, is that, just so you guys know, in LA, we pay $1.75 in tax on top of whatever the rest of y'all in New Hampshire and shit are paying for gas. So if it's 4 something where you are, it's 6 something here. And
well, that's also another interesting thing. Again, I don't know all the particulars, but the gist of it is they wanted to levy the gas tax because, one, it's a great way to make money to either embezzle or use for our legit projects. I don't know what the split is there, but the driving theory was it would curb driving. It would reduce driving, so therefore reduce emissions. It would keep people off the roads and minimize driving. It has not done that.
no, but who are you hurting? The people that have to drive, the people who make the least amount of money. I mean, do you think that a bunch of immigrants with 2-stroke motors in every fucking thing they have and driving a fucking 2008 Chevy Silverado don't have the highest gas prices of anyone in the world? I mean, if you're really trying to worry about the
that's what I'm
common
saying.
person,
I feel like it's a little bit of a what's the word? Sort of a bait and switch, or like it's a facade, right? The outward reasoning is that we want to curb consumption of gasoline for the sake of the environment, but really it comes down to it's a great revenue source. So much so that there's legislation that has now been on the books for over 10 years, I believe. They wanted to introduce basically a new tax on EVs, any miles driven by EVs, and or put a governor or a
limiter,
a limiter, but like they want to basically measure the amount of miles you're driving and just make it a mile tax instead of a gas-based tax. And the reason is because more people switch to EVs. So if you're not using gas, you can't be taxed on the gas tax. They want to get it through just watching your odometer.
And the one thing you cannot not have in a major city where there's different income levels from neighborhood to neighborhood. Sometimes you'll live in a slightly poorer neighborhood, drive to a much richer neighborhood to make money, right? That's how a lot of people work. They drive east side of LA into the west side of LA so they can make a maximum per hour, and they make the hour and a half drive every fucking day. You know what I mean? And that's what's costing them. Like, there's guys now that I saw in the news, they're paying $500-$600 a week just to drive from Riverside to like Costa Mesa, every day.
Well, California is a major commuter state. One of the reasons is exactly what you're talking about. But I had never heard of this until I moved to LA. I had never heard of people driving more than like an hour to work, but some people will drive 2.5 hours each way because it's the only way to do the job that gives them the lifestyle that they want.
Enough money, yeah. And so literally the only time they really, and that's another thing that people don't realize about LA. Everywhere else, like where you're from, Ohio, where I'm from, and like Utah, there's largely a lot of shifts in the day. You'll see people that are going to work at telemarketing, or people that are going to work at stores or in, retail or something like that, that there's a lot of shifts and things are open a lot later and a lot longer. Everything in LA is set up so most people work 9 to 5, or you work the exact opposite. You either work during the day 8 to 5, 9 to 6 kind of situation, or you work on the weekend all weekend long, 12 hours a day, do some job that no one wants to do because everyone wants to go out and recover from their week. You know what I mean? You're a bartender, you're a stripper, you're a dancer, you're a musician, you're doing something on the off hours. You know what I mean?
I am none of those, Tom. How dare you?
I'm all of those. for stripping, please call me. 747, just kidding. Anyway, so that's what I'm saying, though. It's just coming down to, like, people will never understand. Especially, I saw this chick on TikTok the other day who had a really interesting concept. She said, no one who is serving a region, be it in Congress, Senate, local government, should be able to make more than double the pay of a person who lives in that district. Which, so
interesting concept.
If the average income is $50,000 in an area, you would max out on your decision making and your lifestyle at $100,000 you could file every year. Which I think makes a lot of sense if you think, because they got to be dealing with the reality of what they're doing.
Well, and you're talking about like putting some constraints there, which I think is valid, but like also you have to like look at what are the incentives for anything, right? And Congress people, for example, and there's other cases, what incentive do they really have to make your life better? The only incentive they're really driven by is staying in office and profit.
And how much of a pain in the ass it is to listen to people bitch about it on Twitter. That's pretty much,
yeah.
I mean,
but that's like a counter incentive, disincentive, something like that, right? I'm just saying, like, you know, there are some politicians who seem genuine in wanting to make people's lives better, but I feel like they're few and far between.
I think we could name them all on one hand. Like,
yeah.
we had to talk about people that are actually there for the American people. They're making decisions that would help everyone across the board, because most people are just helping themselves. And that's what I think we're seeing going on with this war in Iran, is that, yes, it's going to make Trump and his buddies and a whole bunch of motherfuckers at the top of the chain a lot of money, and, you know, basically confirm and keep their lifestyle going. Do you know what I mean? For a longer amount of time.
Well, and I agree, but it's even beyond that. I think some folks, they are addicted to money. There's a deep-seated greed that's been created for a lot of folks. And I mean, because look, most of the people we're referring to, they are so well off, they can't even spend the money in their lifetimes.
No.
So it's really just like a game at that point where you're trying to hoard more and more and more and more. There was something the other day, and I haven't fact-checked this. This might be total bullshit. It sounds like bullshit to me. But there were multiple people posting saying that TikTok deal was worth $14 billion. Is that right? And Trump got a kickback for facilitating the deal of $10 billion. Now, this just does not sound right. Maybe it was $14 trillion. But in any case, why would Trump get a kickback at all? I could explain it, but I'm just saying, rhetorically speaking, why? And secondly, why would it be that much? And thirdly, he's like 80 years old. He doesn't have much time left. Now, realize he probably wants to leave a legacy for his kids to pass money on. But that is a sum of money that almost anyone cannot spend in a lifetime, right? So at that point, it's just gamification, it's addiction, it's obsession, it's greed. And I'm not just picking on Trump. That's not my point. There's a lot of people in those positions that are not doing things to help the average person.
But also, like, if you've got billions of dollars and you could solve shit like homelessness, if you could solve shit like making sure people get food or subsidized incomes or something like that, that's a huge college educations, like what the fuck ever. You could go, all right, I'm worth $500 million, right? Or $500 billion. I could take $250 billion of that and pay for everyone's fucking school debt and eliminate that and cause the economy to grow. No one's willing to do that.
No one's willing to do it.
And that's what makes me laugh, is that, like, because if I had that much money, who gives a fuck? I'm not going to spend through like fucking $5-6 billion of it in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
See, and believe me, I completely understand. And I think if I had that kind of wealth, I would like to think I'd be very generous too. I think the one counter argument, just off the top though, just to be fair, just to be a realist here, is like you take something like feeding the impoverished. It seems like a great idea from an altruistic standpoint. And I would love to help people, especially on that scale. I think the one kind of valid general counter argument to those things is, if you do that, you might enable some of those people to continue not doing the things that would make them successful or make them self-sufficient.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Newsflash, they're already not doing it. That's the thing.
Well, that's true.
And it's been that way for generations of people that are dependent on things like that. So that's all I'm saying, is that, like, if people could solve problems, you could just write a check for something and get it to go away. If you could get, like, you could be like, I want this type of housing for people that do this, and you could make rules on it because it could be privatized at this point. It's your own fucking money. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's a great point. You could put a lot of different regulations, constraints, whatever, terms and conditions, right?
With that kind of money, you can do anything, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what's bothering me about this. It all seems just like a money grab, a greed thing, because us normal people are getting fucked right now. And it's bad for everybody.
Well, you can take it one step further. The wealth inequality gap is extremely large, and it's getting larger literally every second. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to even get worse in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years.
Well,
if I had to predict.
Do you realize most Gen Z kids, it's like 60 or 70%, I was seeing the other day, don't think they can make it to middle class. That's fucking really
That's pretty terrible.
Sad and pretty terrible.
Kinda,
because they're not even going to try, dude, because they can't get to the middle.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to divert this into another AI chat, but there is a potential that the AI tidal wave that seems to be coming might make that even harder. Like, it's already extremely hard, but there's a chance that it's about to get worse.
Yeah,
but I don't want
It's about to eliminate, like, I guess 80% of high-paying jobs too at the office and corporate level is what I heard. But
there's different numbers out there, and there's different time frames out there. I think nobody knows exactly what's going on, but I think there's a huge number of smart people with a vast amount of data, and then there's also intuition and instinct. And I think most signs are pointing to a major shakeup coming. Major shakeup
in like 3 to 5 years, pretty much, or less.
I mean, I've seen predictions anywhere from 2 to 15, depending on who you ask. But I think by 2030, you're going to see a lot of differences. I think by 2050, you're going to see a lot of differences.
Jeez. I'll be fucking long gone by then.
But the point is, it's already very hard, and I think it's about to accelerate. So yeah, and like home ownership is more out of reach for most people than it ever has been. Actually, there's some really great interactive charts you can see online, like animated infographics and stuff, where they basically take the real data and they show you salary growth over time, and they show you cost of living growth over time. They show you cost of home ownership growth over time. Basically, I'll save you the time. The salary one goes like it's on a reasonable trajectory going up, and then it flattens out a little, and then it really stagnates for like the last 20, 30 years,
yeah.
You know? And so that basically goes like this. And in the meantime, the cost of a house goes way up to the right, and the gap is just very apparent right there.
And another thing people don't realize is that the cost of education in that time has gone up like 450% as well.
There's that too.
Which is crazy, which means to even get out of the situation you're in by trying to become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you're going to be $500K under the fucking gun by the time you get out of school and you're starting to work a job. And who knows if that could, and what if you burn out and you don't want to do that anymore? You change careers, you're just on the hook for that money because there's no getting out of student loans at this point.
Well, and there's a whole bunch of deeper stuff that went on with that. And again, I haven't read all the literature. I'm not an expert on this, but the general, one of the major problems with the education system is that some of it was done in I'm pretty sure they've proven is a knowingly predatory fashion.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
They told everybody if you work hard enough, you'll get a job when I was in school.
Well, it's even worse than that, though, right? It's like saying, hey, come to this college because it's got a great reputation. We graduate a lot of students that go on to great careers, blah, blah, blah. And they have data that supports that.
You're going to meet the right people while you're here.
Networking, right? Plus, there's the experience part, which, some people indulge in more than others. But there were a whole bunch of programs that, while they are great for, deep thought and deep for contemplation and hypotheses and all of that, like a psychology degree, I mean, not to pick on that, but like, I would say probably the majority of people that go to school get $200K in debt and pick that degree. Most of them don't get to find a job in their field that will actually pay off that debt. And there's a bunch of fields like that, like almost like the majority of them.
Yeah, like the majority of what's offered.
That's what I'm saying, right? So imagine think of, first off, these institutions are businesses, period, first. Secondly, they're selling products, period. And a product is a great education that sets you up for success. Well, right there, that's false advertising because you can't guarantee that.
No.
And a lot of them have been proven to not be set up for success. So let's say, I don't know, there's 20 degree programs. Let's say only 3 of them are likely to pay off the 200 or 400K loan. Doctor, lawyer, computer science was a big one for a long time, and engineering.
Well, no,
right?
I heard people now though that are in engineering and stuff that was really stable are really worried because AI started to take over those jobs, do calculations, do the math, do the paperwork.
And I was thinking about this when you were talking earlier. It's not just that. A lot of law work is going to be taken up. A lot of medical work will be taken up.
Because a lot of that was just reading.
Well, it's aggregating large quantities of data. It's doing macro scale pattern matching, right? And that's also what happens in coding too. But imagine you could take like every single medical journal, periodical, book, study, all of it, put into a big database and be able to cross-reference it lightning fast, like literally less than a second. We have that now. It's there. So asking doctors for diagnoses, I mean, they're still playing that role. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just, I'm
sure they would have something different to say about it.
Yeah, sure. I'm just always putting those caveats because I'm not trying to sit here saying that I know everything about this. But I mean, I know enough to have this conversation. But the point is, radiologists, x-ray technicians. Now, this is an interesting one because there was a guy a couple years ago who said, I believe that these types of jobs will be the first ones replaced by artificial intelligence and stuff, like in terms of like white collar, more upper level jobs. And so a lot of people believe that prediction. There was a lot of fear around it. Interestingly, though, something counterintuitive happened, which is that it didn't replace those people. It just made, again, the data aggregation easier. It made the initial interpretation of the x-rays much easier, but it just empowered the humans doing the job to do it faster and better and more precisely. So as of right now, I think those jobs are still safe and intact, but it could accelerate. It could change again in another couple years.
It's true.
So anyways, out of 20 programs, let's say 3 of them actually can make you a lucrative wage that can pay off your loans. That alone is a bad equation, bad numbers, right? Then if in 5 years, a bunch of that is replaced and humans are no longer capable of fielding that, then what do you have?
Well, you also have these institutions that are like, Harvard and stuff like that and Yale that have endowments from people that used to go to school there, where they're sitting on billions of dollars already prior to making more money off the, like, as far as I'm concerned, if you're that bankrolled in the first place, half that shit could be free at that point because you're charging what, $200,000 a year for an education?
And what you're saying is sensible probably to like the average person. But the fact is, it's a business and they have to keep the revenue steady or growing. If they're not growing the revenue, they are now gauged as failures.
Also, that's a big problem I have with America now, which is that all we talk about when they're in the media is whether the stock market's going up, right? Well, 57% of Americans don't own any stock, right? First and foremost.
Which is kind of crazy.
Right? So the one thing that is climbing is the one thing that half the people have zero access, zero knowledge about, right? And we're in a trend where if people ever see those numbers go down, even by 10, 15%, they start freaking out and going, oh my God, my stock's all fucked up. We need to get the numbers back up. And you, as shareholders saying that, don't allow for any diversity in the marketplace. It can only have an upward trend, which means what do? We cut jobs. We cut quality. We cut resources. We cut research on things to make things better. And it just keeps getting shittier and shittier for the overall product. We've seen it go on at something as simple as fucking McDonald's, dude. Like, we now have a $12 Big Mac called the Arch Deluxe, which is basically like a double.
Is it that much?
It's a double quarter pounder Big Mac with onions and shit on it. That's like $12, $13 for the fucking sandwich. It's 1,000 calories, which is like, probably like, it's probably, I don't know, a third bigger than a Big Mac or something like that. But that's a ridiculous price for anything that's shitty slop food that nobody cooked for you. And that's on heaters and shit like that. Stuff like that's insane. And it's just cutting cost with the same bullshit you had before, charging more and more for it to satisfy the fucking market. And that's what's going on.
You know what, Tom? There's only one answer to this. We got to open our venue.
Blow it all up. That's right. The poorhouse, Monrovia. Here we come.
It may or may not be that one, ladies and germs. I just want you to know we're thinking about it. But coming back to the point, though, there was an interesting legislation passed, and I know you have a good heart, Tom, and you probably could try to look this up, but I don't know if you can do it fast enough.
I will try.
But there was legislation passed at some point which basically said that all public companies have a fiduciary responsibility to make money for their shareholders, owners, stakeholders, et cetera, right? And at some point this happened, I want to say it was in the 70s or something. I wish I could recall it better. But ever since that came into being, do you have it? Yeah, there you go. When did it happen?
70s, it says.
It's called duty of loyalty, duty of care, shareholder value. That's the one.
The top of it.
I don't see the dates. Where do you see it?
I thought it said 70s, no?
No.
Anyway.
Well, anyways, this is what I'm referring to. So
there's a fiduciary duty by the company to be sure that the shareholders are making money, is what it's saying.
Yes. And so ever since that happened, it made profit like the single most important driving function of any of these companies and therefore the economy as a whole. So like take a large company that's already doing well, already making a lot of money. They're able to pay all their bills, take home a good amount of profit. And when I say a good amount, like billions, sometimes hundreds of
Apple,
billions.
something like that.
Something like that. But they have to literally quarter over quarter strategize and execute really well to achieve some improvement on their shareholder value. That is the number one KPI they have, key performance indicator for those of you at home. And so to your point, right, some quarters it might be we have to cut jobs to increase our profit margin because that's going to help make the stock go up, which is what we owe to our shareholders. The point is they're making a lot of decisions that may not be in the interest of quality or humans or the earth or any number of things just to drive that one number up. Now, to an extent, I get it. I believe capitalism is generally a good thing. I'm not anti-capitalism. I like money. I like making money. All that's wonderful. But this is extreme stuff. This is extreme stuff.
Here's what I think is what's fucked about capitalism is that I think it's a really good way to get people motivated into working when there's no constructs in a country. Do you see what I'm saying? So for a long time in America, capitalism was the answer to freedom. It was the answer to a growing middle class. It was the answer to the problems that people had coming out of like the Great Depression. Do you see what I'm saying? Like restructuring buildings, starting your own businesses, building upon that. But now we're in a state where we're in end stage capitalism, where we've gone as far as we can, and there's all kinds of restrictions and fucking permits and everything else and red tape before you can even start fucking playing the game.
Well, on this point, the billionaires would generally agree with you, by the way, because they want to be unrestrained in their pursuit of that next
exactly, but
$1 billion.
They're the only people that can pay their way out of the initial restraints, is what I'm saying. So that makes it so that's not a level playing field, and there is no equity or equality starting from somewhere from zero. If you have $0 and you can turn that into $2, that doesn't mean you're ever going to be able to become Getty Oil. Do you see what I'm saying at this point? That's
well, and we said this earlier, the wealth inequality gap is increasing at a rapid rate. It's because of all these factors that we're talking about, right? I want to tie back to the Iran thing though, right? I feel like based on your comments, I can surmise that you feel we should not have gone to war in Iran. Is that a fair statement?
No, I feel like the people there, we owed it to them years ago to solve this fucking problem. Like the last time we went in and put the Ayatollah in there.
Exactly?
Well, they used to have large freedom and liberation and liberal people over there until like 1969, 1971. Then we went over there and helped them shake up the whole fucking government and replace everybody that was in there. And that's how we got what we got now. And they started building against us. It was like, okay, let's let everybody who has this kind of ideology go and go and go and go and go. And they did. And now it's to the point where it's dangerous for the state of the world. And it's going to keep happening again unless you put in people that are going to make it a progressive type of union over there. Like we have to fix the infrastructure and everybody has to plan on that from there and find people that identify with them that are going to do what they're going to do. You can't just get the guy who just got thrown out and get his little brother to come in, which is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have all the answers obviously, but one thing that really does bother me is hypocrisy and lies, and it does seem like most people in politics are lying and are hypocritical on one thing or another. And like having your platform be no more foreign wars or no more unnecessary foreign wars, all this stuff. And then to go do this, that's disingenuous to me, and then obviously all the costs for everything are up. And I'm not just picking on any one individual here. I just feel like we're in a cluster. We're in a pretty bad situation globally, not just America. It's affecting everybody. And then you've got the Gaza stuff. And I mean, I don't even want to go into all that because people are so polarized and so passionate about it. But like,
and honestly, I don't think we have enough information to talk about it.
We don't. And I don't ever want to come on here and spout a bunch of shit when I don't really know the facts and I don't have a clear position or whatever. But the world is in a very precarious place. That's what I'm getting at. Multiple wars on multiple fronts. Politics is out of control. Greed is out of control. It's hard to know where we're going to go. And this is, by the way, one of our more pessimistic existential podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get back to me farting in my pants later on.
But Tom, actually, we wanted to talk briefly about the situation that occurred to you recently. All the prices are up. You wanted to have a decent weekend. Something bad happened to you.
Oh, this is horrific. So I had a big weekend planned. I was going to go out. I was going to go to a lot of shows. I was going to, see some friends. I was going to go out, do some networking.
TC, man about town.
Man about town. I was about to go out, meet out with a couple of our friends. I was like, yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. I got my Uber guy coming up. Like, I got the whole 9 yards. I was getting my driver. I was going to have a good time. And so about Saturday morning, I wake up and I get my credit card statement. I'm like, motherfucker, this looks...
You get a paper statement?
No, I get the on my email.
I was like, what?
They said, here's what you owe this month. And I was like, motherfucker, that's a lot. I was like, what's going on? So I jump on my accounts online. And so everybody knows, like a couple of years ago, I had some drama where I had an ex of mine add me to a bunch of credit card debt. And it was like, literally like I woke up 150 grand in debt one day. So I had to get my credit all locked up and frozen. And I got all my cards joined at the same bank and everything else like that. So now basically if I go to do a credit move, I have to apply in person. I have to do some shit like
Which bank?
I'm not going to tell you.
What's your numbers?
I'm not going to tell you the numbers. Shut up. So like I got a notification that it was about $600 up and I looked and it looked like somebody had been taking money from like a random ATM in like fucking Burbank or North Hollywood or something. And I was never over there taking $200-$300 out at a time.
Are you sure it wasn't you just like blacked out or something?
No, I was not that blacked out. I remember taking money out of the account. And I barely ever use cash. And they were taking cash out. Like they were taking $200-$300 out at a time. And I was probably down about like $600-$800 by the time I saw this. So I sent a little message to the bank on the messaging inside the account. It said, hey, there's a couple charges here I don't recognize. We might want to look into it. Sent the email. And then I got, to the gas station and had no way to pay for any gas. Because
you want to get some of that sweet $6 gasoline.
Yeah, I wanted to get some gasoline, and there was no way because all my cards were declined. And I went back to the house, and I noticed that all my accounts had been frozen, everything. So basically, I spent the entire weekend sitting at home at my house, doing nothing and trying to drag out.
Good for you, though.
The last quarter tank of gas I had to do anything. I had no food. I hadn't gone to the store. I was down to fucking nothing. Today, I went to the store. You saw I stocked up today. I went crazy today.
I was actually pretty pleased to come into the studio today and see that the grocery shopping had been done and I didn't need to participate in it this time.
That's true. You did last week. But no, I literally had nothing left. And I had no gas. I could not do anything, could not see anybody. And I apologize for not making it out to any shows. I was supposed to be at Viper Room Saturday to make it.
Well, a little bit of a force break can be good. Take a little breather. Think about life.
Ugh.
But as I told you, Tom, and I'm saying this to the folks at home on the air as well, if you get in a pickle, brother, hit me up because, I'm very well endowed and I can make shit happen.
I'm not calling you for money. Shut up.
I mean, we could have $100 bills flying out of your ass in no time flat.
I'd rather sit here and die than take money from you. That's what I beat. Daddy, what's up? I need some money. No.
And I say, what are you going to use it on, son?
Strippers and cocaine and booze.
What's her name?
My friends.
What's his name?
Charlie. No, literally, like it was just like it was wild, dude. Like when stuff like that happens, and I did go down today. I got it worked out at like 9 fucking a.m. I went back in there, changed.
So what was the root cause of this situation?
Somebody must have double swiped me at a gas station or something with one of the machines or something. So
I think if you use the tapper it's a little more secure.
Yeah, but you know when you go in and you buy food and they make it, they're like, oh, it didn't work. And there's like a thing this big on it.
Why are you buying food at the gas station, man?
Because I had none in my house. Yeah, I really am that big of
frat boy Chandler.
Pants shitting piece of shit out there with no food.
Maybe that's why you're sharting all over the damn town.
I'm just eating the big ass hamburger from like AMPM and shit.
It's been on those roller things for like 3 days.
I'm like, that's a pretty good looking burger, huh? Pretty terrible.
Wow, that looks medium well.
Well. What's next on the schedule then? What are we going to talk about?
Well, I think the last thing we had on the docket today is the Oscars.
Oh, yeah. Just so you know.
While the whole world's going to shit, we still have the Oscars.
We still have the Oscars. We still have a long, boring presentation.
Did you watch it?
I did not.
I didn't watch it.
We made bets and we talked about it. But I just want to let everyone know that talk shit on one battle after another. Since I saw that motherfucker in July, I was like, that's the best movie I've seen in like the last 5-6 years.
Who's in it?
And Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro.
Leo.
Yeah, like a bunch. Sean Penn. Great actors.
Killers. Straight killers.
And I was like, this is the best movie I've seen. It's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, one of my favorite directors of all time. He did Boogie Nights, Magnolia, The Master, like tons and tons of great. There Will Be Blood. Excellent movie.
Love that one.
Yeah, that's what
Love that one.
Great fucking movies. And it was filmed in a way which I've never seen before. There were shots that were taken easily like 1.5 miles away from the subject matter.
What's it called?
One battle after another.
I gotta watch this.
And it's fantastic, and it's a 3-hour movie. And yes, I get that some of you idiots are fucking bored, and I get that some of you don't appreciate cinema, and you don't appreciate shots and cinematography and writing and things like that. But this was fantastic, and it won Best Picture and Best Director.
Very nice.
Which I predicted since day one. Everyone's like, Sinners is going to win. No, Sinners was a great movie. Sinners was as good as a movie as The Shawshank Redemption. It was fucking awesome.
Really?
It just wasn't one battle after another, which is what's different. And yes, people have issue with the political message in the fucking movie. Yes, it's about revolutionaries that are technically terrorists in America going against the government, but the government is full of, terrible people called the what is it called? The Santa Claus Christmas Adventurers Club that are all a bunch of like Trumpy like looking guys. And basically Sean Penn plays an RFK type character like in the movie.
Sean Penn is RFK?
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
It's pretty funny. He's like a Terminator RFK.
Whoa.
So, and like I said, whether you agree with politics or not doesn't make a movie good or bad. It doesn't have to be not about anything for you to like it or not like it. Boogie Nights is about porn, something which I don't really care about 70s porn and how it was made, like the whole night. It's just a great fucking movie. There's a lot of great shots in it. I don't really care about Scientology and its history, but The Master is a great movie, and the dude makes great fucking movies. We should appreciate people that are trying to do something.
Sake,
yes,
right?
and trying to do something different and trying to say something in a world where a lot of people are saying fucking nothing on TikTok, dancing with their fucking arms out.
Well, I actually really do agree with the need for true art, the need for long form content that really makes you think. I feel like that could be its own podcast. But coming back to the Oscars, I believe, don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers won the most awards. I think they got 11 last night, and that is tied for the most ever by a single studio. So that's wild, right? Warner Brothers is on the precipice of this deal where Netflix was trying to buy it, Paramount's trying to buy it. Netflix dropped out of the bidding recently, said it's just too much, it's too crazy. Paramount is set to win this negotiation and acquire it, right? I think Paramount got like 0 Oscars, but Warner Brothers got 11, and so therefore, it's kind of interesting. If Paramount acquires it, boom, now you have Oscar wins in your cachet. Now, also, Netflix got like 7, so if Netflix had bought it,
they'd have 18 wins.
That would be pretty baller.
But here's the thing, dude. It's like Warner Brothers, it's been a weirdly sinking ship for a long time. Because where we had, the Marvel universe and stuff like that, like over at Disney and whatnot, they were responsible for all like the weird DC stuff, you know what I mean? And it wasn't making as much money. They were making better quality films overall, but they weren't making as profitable of films. I think Netflix is in the business of making profitable films that a lot of people are going to see, or they're trying to eliminate theaters and stuff in general, which I feel like is coming. But
Netflix, doesn't make money specifically from any particular titles. I guess maybe they do for like some side deals or some relicensing or redistribution. Maybe. I don't know the inner workings, of course, but as far as I can tell, their main model is just driving subscription growth, which drives monthly recurring revenue, which drives annual recurring revenue.
Which is what most things
But you have
are.
to have good content and a lot of it. I want to see a couple of these films you mentioned. I haven't seen. I'm trying to watch Nuremberg right now. I'm trying to get through Nuremberg.
I saw the majority of films last year.
Really?
Yes, I did. And there were ones that I liked less than others, but this was actually a really good year for Oscars, a really good year for nominations. There was a lot of crazily good films. And actually, 2024 and 2025 have been big fucking banger years for movies. If you're just seeing the dumb shit that they're putting out at the front, if you're going to see like fucking, I don't know, Zootopia 2, you're wasting your fucking time, okay? Let's not do that. Let's not go see what was the goat with about like the goat that like is the best basketball player. Let's not go see that shit. Let's go see some movies again. Let's see some films. Let's show artists and fucking filmmakers that we care and that we want to be there and see these things.
Well said, Tom.
Okay. Well, we're going to edit that out, apparently.
Just a couple slices here and there, maybe.
All right. Well, this has been TC and the Wolf. This has been episode 16. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry if we got a little political, a little charged, but it's been a weird time lately, man.
We got a vent, too.
Yeah. We got to
let
say
it
some
out.
shit once in a while. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Keep partying on. I'm going to have a shot. Let's go.
Take care of yourselves.